Good morning. Thanks for being with us today. I have a couple of questions, and I'm not really particularly sure which one it goes to, so feel free to chime in. I'm aware of the flooding issues in Huntington County with the Juniata River. We have a similar one in Armstrong on the Allegheny at Brady's Bend, which is, as the name implies, a 180-degree turn. The ice builds up there. I'm asking this question for a colleague of mine who could not be here, the good lady from Clarion. We've had issues in recent years where the ice builds up at Brady's Bend up on top of the locks so heavily that we cannot go out as we've always done and basically detonate the ice jam and let it flow naturally through the Allegheny Channel. In recent years, we've been stopped from doing that by Fish and Boat Commission, who seems to think that us blowing that ice and letting it release down the river channel will harm fish and stuff. My question is, in a scenario like that, does Pima have any ability to step in and save the houses that are flooding because of this ice jam, because of the floodwaters built up behind the ice jam?
And I'm sorry, sir, did you say save the houses? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
What's happening is the ice, because we're unable to get rid of it, is backing up water and flooding houses in Reimer and Rimersburg.
Okay. You know, again, you're absolutely right. I mean, the reality of it is there are requirements associated with what you can do with ice jams, and the issue of and many times folks have over the years taken explosives and dealt with it, and again, that's not Pima's regulations, or that's obviously Fish and Boat or DEP that's involved with it. We have. If you will, I believe it's an experimental system that I learned about recently, where there's a hydraulic booming system that can be put into place, where they actually go ahead and put a boom across the creek or the river, primarily a small river, but a creek area, that can go ahead and break up that ice. I'll be more than willing to talk to you about that further, and the legislator from Clarion, and explain to you how we've been able to do that and fund it to be able to actually, and it has worked. And this is a pilot for this season. But I'll be more than happy to get back to you on that, sir.
It's a serious issue for those folks up north of me, and I have pictures of my grandfather when he served as constable in Katanning, walking out on the ice with volunteer firemen and blowing the jam.
Sure.
It always solved the problem.
Sure.
It let the ice migrate downriver safely, fine. We didn't have flooding, but now it seems like we no longer have that option. And those poor folks in Reimer who have owned their houses before this dictate was put in place, they seem to be bearing the brunt. And if possible, I think you should reach out to the good lady from Clarion County, as she asked me to pose the question.
Absolutely.
My question, you said something earlier that I felt held a lot of water to it, which is to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Let's try to avoid these situations before they come up. And obviously, we need a lot of public participation in that. As legislators, we look to see what other states are doing, and very interesting to me was what the state of Kansas just did. If you're unaware, they declared Zombie Apocalypse Week.
Yes.
Which just drummed public, knowledge of what they have to deal with in Kansas, mostly tornadoes, blizzards, which I'm sure were different. But have you considered anything like that to raise public awareness in a outreach PR? Does Pennsylvania have the equivalent of a zombie apocalypse week in the works?
Not exactly zombie apocalypse, but your point is well taken. The public is absolutely critical. We have a very aggressive public education program. We're participating in a national preparedness thon, but we can do more. And you're absolutely right. Those kind of unique events,
playful, caught the public attention.
Absolutely, I'd certainly be willing to consider that, and certainly look at it from a perspective of whatever we can get the public prepared. And again, the other key is, Our goal in emergency management, and frankly, it has to be that we stabilize any incident within 72 hours. 72 hours, people are in shelters, people are rescued, their basic needs are being met. The caveat to that is, and it was obviously seen in Tropical Storm Sandy, is what happens in those first 72 hours. We need to make sure that the public has the basic understanding of what the preparedness activities they need to do. That's been our focus, and that will continue to be our focus. But I like the zombie idea.
Well, it's, as the secretary out in Kansas stated, you know, something that playful catches everybody's attention. And frankly, if they can deal with the zombie apocalypse, a tornado's easy.
Absolutely.
One more back to Rimersburg. If being prepared is the key to this, I think you all ought to send some people out to Rimersburg pretty quick. Ice is getting ready to break.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.